Good morning, everyone, and welcome, Mrs. Manley, for um, coming in today. And thank you for running our classroom. You always do a great job taking the charge with the kids and everything. Today, we're going to obviously start with our typical routine, with our morning routine, where we read the message. Good morning, everyone. I apologize that I'm absent today, but it is for a good cause. I will be sharing your phenomenal work with other teachers around the county in order to assist them in creating a 21st century learning experience similar to ours. We are lucky, of course, that we have Mrs. Manley in with us today as our substitute. Today's morning work is your word study activity, and it's where you're watching the video I have created and you are creating your own video and getting that word study journal caught up. So as soon as announcements are finished, you need to be working hard on that to have it complete. Breakfast, of course, is just done like usual. Mrs. Manley will take your names as you get breakfast. She will put a check mark. Make sure you get the 3 items like you are supposed to. And also, of course, make sure that you do your lunch choice over in the spinny thing so that she can take lunch choice and attendance. After she's finished that, you guys can move on to your variety of activities. We have some priorities to get finished. The priorities are the ones that are underlined. So you can see the ReadWorks, Her Own Room, and Written Prompt. That is definitely one of the priorities today, so I suggest doing that one first. What you're going to do is read the story Her Own Room in Digital ReadWorks. So you got to visit that website in Digital ReadWorks. Read that text for you there, and then there are questions on Digital ReadWorks that you need to answer. Those are comprehension questions. They're specifically focused around the setting of the story for this part. After you do that, in ReadWorks, Her Own Room, we're going to get into Google Classroom, and you will see that there is actually, let me refresh it. Refreshing it, you can see Her Own Room, read the text in Digital ReadWorks and answer the questions provided, then complete the written response in Google Classroom, which is right here. So you're going to actually click on this. You're going to do a written response, summarize the text, and determine the universal theme of the story, utilizing evidence from the text to support your thinking. Okay, and if you're looking at the rubric for this, we're going to use the PARCC Literary Analysis Task rubric, which is right here. And as you can tell, this is a pretty lengthy rubric, but we're looking at your reading comprehension. So you want to demonstrate your comprehension with mostly accurate analysis of the text, effective, mostly clear and coherent, mostly effective. That's what we're looking at. Okay. So this is basically your rubric that we're using for this, because this is a literary analysis task, and that is this right here. After you answer that, please make sure that you go ahead and turn that in. So just turn it in to me. Then you can move on to the next activity, which is make sure that you have answered the essential question in Google Classroom. It's the one that we started yesterday. This one, what specific details from the text are essential to use when creating a visual representation? Our example is the hopscotch game. Then from there, you're going to work on your hopscotch game. So as long as you get these 2 items finished, you can work on your hopscotch game for a while. And then again, if your word study's finished, well, that gives you even more time to do that. And then you have some time to read independently. Your reading homework will be digital tonight. So read independently, however you would like, for about 20 minutes. So this is going to be before laps, and then start it before laps, and then you can finish it after laps. Laps will be at 8:55 to 9:05, and then come on back in and just get started working again. You will have until encore to finish that. Again, the priorities are this, ReadWorks, and then answering the EQ. And don't forget about the written prompt that goes with the ReadWorks. This will be graded. This will all be graded. Your hopscotch, if you don't finish it, that's okay. They're going to continue. We'll continue that throughout the week. And these other items just need to be completed as well. After encore, you're going to come back and work on those writing narratives. Remember, I advise you to work on a story map, getting that sketched out before you start writing your story. Remember how we did that before, coming up with a theme, universal theme. We also came up with, we briefly talked about the good climax for this narrative. Okay, and go ahead and share that with Mrs. Manley to tell her what you guys are working on there. It's pretty neat. Then, obviously, at 11:35, we have lunch, and then recess. And then after recess, when you come back in, go ahead and hand Mrs. Manley my iPad, and she can read some from A Christmas Carol. Read about 20 minutes, and then you guys can get started on your science and math. The science portion of this, if you would like, I actually wrote independent, but I'm going to change this. We're going to call this partner work. You may do this with a partner. You're going to do all afternoon work with a partner in the science part and with the math part. However, if the noise does get too loud, then Mrs. Manley may ask you to work independently on this. So the partner work, this is a front row GPS assignment. Okay, you may read that with a partner, answer the questions with a partner. There is also a written response. You need to do that as well. Our EQ here is how can waves transfer information. That's what we're talking about. And then once you finish that, go over to the math part. Here, specifically, the science is the priority that we need to make sure we get finished, and then move on to the math part of it. I can use my analytical thinking skills to compare multiple fractions and relate them to one another. And then I have a paper copy of Terrific Tar Heels. The instructions are on there for you. Mrs. Manley can hand them out. If you would like to take a picture of the game to make it easier on yourself so you can play over and over again, you may do that. After playing the game for a while, there is a SmartAmp workspace activity for you to do. There's some different challenging questions there for you to work on, and then these are our standards for today. It is understanding a fraction and how it's a sum of fractions that come together. So if you can get that math part completed, if you do not, however, that's okay. We'll pick up there on Wednesday, but you must complete the science and of course the reading that I talked about this morning. Your homework is reading for 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes in light sail, but you need to read 30 minutes total, and then 10 minutes of front row math. I will be checking in from time to time throughout the day, looking at your work to see how you have done in Google Classroom, on ReadWorks, so I do have access to look at all that. So please make sure you are working as promptly as you can, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday. Again, there will be DI, so I will be back in time for DI. Alrighty, have a good day. Thank you, Mrs. Manley, very much.